All right. Next step of this house is we got foundations. So we're showing you how we put up all these foundations in. We'll get this all poured. So be working with my concrete guys. They'll be putting everything in. They do a really good job. So we'll show the entire process. But hope you watched my last video starting this house, putting the footers in. But right before all these foundation walls went in, as far as them forming them up, we had to make sure we got rid of our water, so we're not gonna have any issues with water. So showing you all about that coming up in this next video and getting this thing out of the ground. All right, so who has ever had a house with a basement with water problems, a wet basement? We want to try to avoid that here as much as possible and make this basement bone dry. So everything we're doing, 99.9% sure that this basement will not have any water issues. So after we got the footers poured, what we did is we got this black fabric here. So we put this black fabric about 5 foot long, and we laid it down alongside of our footer right here and pulled it up on the bank. After we did that, we put our drain tile. So this drain tile here has another fabric on it, this fabric sock. Then after that, we put our pea gravel over top of that and then wrapped this fabric down like this, brought it over top, made a good, nice gravel drain tile taco right there. Don't want to eat that taco. Then we put a little bit more pea gravel on top of it after we rolled it, made our taco, and to hold it down so it doesn't go anywhere and for good drainage. So what this does here is any water that comes through the ground, hits the foundation, runs down all the way down to the bottom of the foundation, because we're also putting a rubber wall on our foundation. You'll see that in a little bit. That water goes all the way down to that bottom of the footer and it hits right here. Well, that's going to be muddy water because you're going to have it coming through the dirt before it's hitting it. So over time, if you just put drain tile down in there, even with pea gravel, it's going to eventually clog that drain tile. What this fabric, 2 layers of fabric does is it sifts out all the dirt and sediment so it doesn't clog your drain tile. So you have 2 layers, 2 filters basically. It has to go through this fabric, then through the gravel, and then through the fabric that is on this drain tile, and then you get clean water going into your drain tile and out. Now, so here on this build, we're lucky enough we have walkout basement and then a hill behind the house. So we don't have to worry about any kind of sump pump or anything that could possibly fail. If you have electric go out, even if sometimes they have a backup battery, that sump pump, if it fails, it's gonna flood your basement. You're gonna have water issues. So we're daylighting this out. Something that's not gonna fail. Gravity won't fail when we do this. So that way we're gonna have a nice dry basement. So one important thing we have here is we need support for our house. So we have steel beams going through. You can see the pads where the steel beams are sitting on, and the steel beams also have to sit in the foundation. We want the tops of the steel beams to be flush with the top of the foundation. So we have to make a pocket for it to sit on. So here inside the form, we have to make a cavity. We do so by having this wooden piece we made, and it's sitting on a bearing plate so that steel beam can be welded to. Right here we have this before we put it in. We have our bearing plate. This comes out with the forms, so the cavity is created. We got our bearing plate. We even have rebar on it, so it's secure in the foundation. So that beam, once it's welded to this, is connected to the foundation. We have proper bearing, and it's not going anywhere. All right, we're here, almost ready, almost having all the foundation forming done. So another day, and we'll get all the foundation done. But one thing we worked on today is this steel for this retaining wall. So because so much weight and stuff's going to be on this wall as far as the dirt and everything behind it, engineers spec'd a lot of bar in here. We have number 5 bar bent, tied into the foundation, come around here. So it's important to get the right specs, and as far as not to have things fail on us in the future. So this retaining wall is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to tip forward. We even have it, those are sticking out because there's a concrete slab going on top of that. So those will bend and go into the concrete slab, tie it back even more. So if this retaining wall moves, we got bigger problems than just the retaining wall moving. So right here we have a walkout basement, as said before, and so we have one sliding door that's going to be in here and 2 windows. So we got to create cavities for those. So what we made is bucks here. These are the bucks for the windows, and a door buck over there that are going to set inside the forms. These window bucks here, part of it's going to remain, this pressure treated part of it will remain, and so we put screws in this side to tie it in so it holds real good in the foundation. We made sure they were all squared up, put reinforcements so the concrete won't bow it, and we'll have a exact size we need that's square with no problems. So you see he's oiling the form there so the concrete doesn't stick to it. So the foundation forms are pretty much all done. Button up a couple last minute things before the concrete gets pumped in. The pumper truck once again is here and setting up, waiting for the concrete trucks to arrive. See, inside our foundation we have, this is how the forms, they have the 2 metal forms on each side. They have ties that tie it together that keeps it from expanding. You can see how they're clipped in here with these wedges. Those ties stay in the foundation. And then we have plenty of rebar to go around in it. You can see we made our ledges up. We have them on with C-clamps. And then we have our J-bolts sitting in there all exactly where we want it to. So before the concrete gets poured, we're doing a couple last minute things. This right here is the wall that goes in between the full basement and the crawl space. So I have a form that I made to stick down in there to create a hole so that you can easily go from this basement area to this crawl space after it's poured. So we're wrecking the foundation here. So they have all these aluminum panels that tie together right here. They got the holes that line up. So there's this pin with this slot in it, and then there's a wedge that goes on the other side that ties it all in. This goes through here like this, and then the wedge goes into that slot. It holds it all together tight. So now that the concrete's poured, we're taking them all out, beating them all out with a hammer, and collecting them all, and that way then the panel can come off, and left with our concrete foundation. Here's the ties that went through. Those just break off, just like that. And here's a nice foundation. All right, we are out here. We got everything all cleaned up. The foundation guys are just about done. Basically all they have to do is get their boom truck in, and it comes down and grabs these and puts it on their truck, and so they can get going. They finished everything today they needed to get done besides taking their all their panels out. So we are ready for rubber wall. So that way we can get all of our foundation inside the basement kept nice and dry. So that's definitely what we want. So in order to prep for our rubber wall, what we did, so we get a nice seal against the footer, we went and cleaned it all off. As you can see there, we scraped all the excess concrete, all the other stuff, and broomed it so we get a nice good seal where our rubber wall is going all the way down from the top of the foundation all the way down to the footer. So we're out here today setting steel in our foundation. So we need our steel to span in the middle of our foundation because we have our floor joist. Floor joist could not span all the way across the foundation. So the steel goes in the middle. So the steel can span all the way that way across it. Being steel, it's strong like steel. Who knew? But so all of the steel, we got the crane here. They're gonna set it in the foundation on our bearing plates, weld to those bearing plates, shim it up, make sure it's nice and level, so that way we can put a top plate on our steel and frame right to that. You can see that after removing the forms, there's our beam pocket. So we have the metal at the bottom there, so that they can weld right to it, and it should accept our beam perfectly. So first beam is in. They got that set with the crane. Now we got a couple columns underneath of this beam. So the top of the beam gets welded, the bottom gets shimmed, so it's nice and tight, and then they'll put anchors down into our concrete pads. Also, while these guys are welding this, take a second to do a little mini review of this Milwaukee rain jacket. It works good. I'm dry, even though it's raining pretty good. And it's held up to work pretty good. No rips, no tears, nothing in it, so it's a good work jacket. All right, all the steel is in. So we got all of our columns in. All the beams across, the splice, everything's welded, it's attached to the foundation. All our bearing points are good. They are cleaning up and loading up, heading out of here. And so this rainy Friday, we got this all done. And then so Monday, we're gonna start putting some plates on. And so we'll show you that in the next video. Also, we got some concrete slabs to do, so we'll go in more detail about those concrete slabs. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram for super live up-to-the-minute updates on this project and other tool reviews. And thanks for watching. All right, so now that the foundation is all cleaned up, all ready to go, what we did is we made sure everything was waterproof. So we came in, had somebody come in and spray this rubberized coating on the foundation. It's a really, really good coating. One of the great things about it being rubber is if the foundation ever cracks or moves, that rubber will move with it and it won't break, it stays continuous. Then so that keeps the water out of the foundation, off the foundation. And then on top of that, we had this drainage plate. So this is a fabric dimpled mat, plastic dimple with a fabric over top of it. And so that allows basically the dirt and stuff to go against it. And then we have the water, so we'll hit this and create a drainage plane that will have it run all the way down, not penetrating that foundation because of the rubber, and into our footer drain tile right here. So That way it keeps everything super dry and won't have any problems with water to the foundation. Put this termination bar on top, shoot it in, so that way no dirt or whatever gets behind this termination bar.